Tôi xin trân trọng kính chào quý vị khán thính giả. Thưa quý vị, vào ngày 10 tháng 3 vừa qua thì phim Coronel X đã được trình chiếu tại Đại hội điện ảnh Campfest trên thành phố San Francisco. Vào cuối tháng 4 này thì cuốn phim này sẽ được trình chiếu tại miền Nam California. Phim Coronel X là dựa trên những sự kiện có thật nói về cuộc đời của nhà văn kiêm đạo diễn Angie với phần xuất hiện của nữ diễn viên Annie đóng vai của Angie và cũng có phần xuất hiện của các tài tử như là nữ tài tử Francesca Eastwood là con gái của Clint Eastwood, nam tài tử Scott Kiji và nam diễn viên Ron Yuan. Thưa quý vị, trong buổi nói chuyện ngày hôm nay chúng tôi xin được tiếp chuyện với hai vị khách quý, đó là nữ đạo diễn cùng với anh nam tài tử Ron này cho cái buổi nói chuyện bằng tiếng Anh và sẽ là phụ đề tiếng Việt, thưa quý vị khán thính giả. Và tôi nhớ rằng là tôi có tiếp chuyện với nam tài tử Ron cũng 5 năm trước khi mà anh có xuống đài SB10, và trong những năm gần đây thì nam tài tử Ron cũng rất là bận rộn với những phim ảnh cũng như là những cái TV show của Hoa Kỳ. Và đây là buổi nói chuyện mà tôi xin được nói về cái sự thực hiện của cuốn phim Coronel X. Thank you so much, Angie and Ron, for be back here. Yes, I promise I did not say anything bad about you guys. All good. It was just a very short brief. I wouldn't know how to say that in Vietnamese, maybe. But thank you so much for coming down here today. Great job. I saw the film last night, and I have to say, not your character, but the actress who plays your character, she made me cry. Oh. But you make me realize that, you know what, being a father is so important to, the children, how important it is, because it affects their life.
Yes.
As an adult.
It shapes who they are.
It shapes who they are.
Yeah.
So, watching this, I'm like, really? Is this a true story? Seriously?
Largely true. I would say it is, yeah. I always say it's inspired by true events. It's semi-autobiographical. I don't think people are going to be interested in me lying around on the sofa watching television and seeing a movie about that. So, I basically tried to condense a lot of moments in my life into, a shorter time span. And, you have to take some, creative license in terms of, changing up the facts and some names and that type of thing. But I tried to write it from a really authentic, emotional place.
And how long did it take you to finish the screenplay?
To write it?
Yes.
There's a short and a long answer. I mean, it took me like 10 days to spit the thing out, but it had been living in my head for 2 years. So I think, in fairness, it probably took 2 years.
So Ron, what was your first reaction after you read the script?
It was actually my agent. She was calling me hey, this isn't, it's a kind of an indie film, but I read the script. It's really, really good. Just can you have a read? I'm like, yeah, sure. So as soon as I read it, I read it in 45 minutes. So now I was like, oh my God, this is great. So I told her, I'm down, I want to do it. So I thought it was fantastic writing.
Were you thinking, wow, this is totally Breaking Bad, but it's the Asian girl,
yeah.
Character?
And it hits me because, and also after talking to Angie later, we probably were hanging out at the same place in New York and didn't know it, back then. So
cross path each other, right?
Probably did.
But didn't know. But a lot of her, what she went through and the characters in her script, it really registered a lot with me.
So now I'm curious, what was both of your life, growing up in the East Coast at that time? What was it difficult? Was it easy? Your best friend, plays by Francesca Eastwood, you have a Caucasian best friend, which I think it's kind of rare at that time, right? Around the 80s?
I grew up in an environment where there were mostly there was mostly white people. And then I grew up in an environment where it was mostly black people. So I think for me, I was just used to wearing that sort of the cloak of being the outlier. I never really looked like other people. And so I think for me, I guess I assimilated a little, and I learned to sort of blend into different cultures. And I think growing up in New York, it's a rough neighborhood, but it's also a really vibrant one. So, I'm always really grateful and proud to say that I'm a New Yorker.
How about you, Ron?
Yeah, I think the same goes, because for me it was just growing up and my high school was the first integrated high school in New York. So same as Ange, like most of my friends were black or white.
Right.
Or black or Jewish. So and then in that scene in New York, I grew up hip hop. So you kind of grew up DJing, doing all this stuff. So you learned what she was saying, you learn to assimilate, but also I think we were both kind of rebels in our own different ways too. So just doing things, especially jumping into acting. It was rare back then to have Asian actors, because a lot of even a lot of my friends that were doing Broadway, all that stuff. It was so it's very few. So
Ron, you're really a pioneer, I think, in that.
But then, at what age do you realize that you really want to become a serious actor?
well, I came out to LA when I was 18 to pursue it, but I think I knew.
That was like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Well, you've accomplished so much. I'm so proud of you. Yes, yes.
But I think I knew, honestly, when I was second, third grade.
Really?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you share with your parents that, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do when I grow up?
No, not till later. Not at the beginning.
You're not going to be a doctor or an engineer?
Yeah, that's what they. That's
Or
what
lawyer?
Yeah.
Architect. That's what they want me to do. But no, I had to sneak out, like, to play sports or do acting stuff. So I would have to tell them. I would lie to my grandparents or my parents, saying, "Oh yeah, no, it's biology, extracurricular, that kind of stuff, chemistry." But mainly, I was playing football or doing a play. So,
Oh my gosh. Well, did you do the same sneak out from your
I snuck out a
family?
lot, but I don't think I really discovered my passion until much later. I think I'm always like in awe of people like Ron, who kind of realize at a really young age what they love and what they want to follow in this world. But for me, I think I just sort of bounced around. I did a lot of sneaking out just because it was a lot more fun than staying at home. So I was definitely Bugwai. I was definitely like a kind of a bad girl from early on, and I think largely it's I didn't really have parents to kind of like watch over me and sort of guide me. So I pretty much was like, I'll just do whatever the hell I want.
Were they just constantly working all the time?
My father was working constantly. My mother did actually leave when I was like 7. So it was just me and my dad, and he did really work in a restaurant until very late hours, and so I was a kid who raised myself on television and movies when I was lucky. But they really were like they were a cathartic kind of piece of my childhood, I think. I got to be really transported.
So what happened after your mom left at the age of 7? Were you sad? I mean, or did you think at that time it was normal?
No, I knew it definitely wasn't normal, and I definitely, my father was one of those guys, it's an old school Chinese guy. He was like, we don't tell our business. So when you go to school, you don't tell anybody that anything happened. And I've come to realize as an adult how damaging that is, like when you have to keep a secret like that.
Suppressed your emotions.
It isolates you, and it makes you feel like you don't belong and like you're not loved.
And no one will ever understand you.
Yes. So this is a great way to be seen and to be understood and to connect with other people.
Yeah. But at least you have some good friends that you can,
friends.
that you can trust and relate to and can share with them.
Yes.
Francesca's character, is that real or is that fictitious?
She's sort of an amalgamation of like maybe 4 different people.
Okay. So her character, she's often cut herself.
Yes.
Is that also real to some of your friends that you found out later in life?
That was my daughter.
Oh, your daughter.
So my daughter was a cutter, and I felt like
I
could write it from a really true place because we dealt with that together. Yeah. It's really sad. It's
Was she okay when you brought that aspect to the
We
film?
talked about it a lot. And she said, "Mom, I think it's important for people to see what motivates this, what drives it, and just to understand that it's not you're not a freak.
Yeah.
You're just looking for an outlet for your pain."
Yes, and I did remember a couple years back. Speaking of Cutter, this was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was so popular among the teenagers, and they called themselves emo.
Right.
But I didn't understand at that time why it was so popular among the teenagers, and they often go just take a cardboard. Sometimes they even use a cardboard to cut themselves.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still don't know what inspired them or what motivated them to do that. Do you know why? What did that to your daughter?
So I think there are 2 different answers. The first is, some of these teens, they disassociate so strongly, like they describe it as like just sort of like floating away from themselves and they can't really feel anything. And when they cut, it makes them feel something. And then there's another branch, which I think was more of the Janine character, which is like, there's all this pent up pain, there's all this pent up frustration. You can't voice it, so you cut and it kind of releases. So I think, and the pain sort of gives you something to sort of focus on rather than your emotional pain.
And Ron, your character, you play a father who works constantly. What was your upbringing like in living in New York with your parents? Were your parents worked a lot? Were they like workaholic type of parents?
Yes, very much so. In the restaurant business.
So you can relate to the restaurant
that's why
business.
I was saying when I read the script, not only did, I see the father character and related to both my dad and my mom, but also I saw a bit of Angie's character, her friends, like it was all part of me, you know, and also my friends too. So that's why I hit home a lot. So, you know, that's why I found the script so engaging. So, yeah, but they were hard workers. They busted their butts, and that's why I also got into a lot of trouble when I was young. So, because it was about like, you know, had fake IDs when I was 13.
Really?
Going into the city, yeah, so I could go to bars and stuff, and yeah, different.
At the age of 13?
13, 14.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Partying at Studio 54 when I was 15.
Oh my gosh.
First time I go to Studio 54, I go to the bathroom and Rick James is doing coke with 3 girls. So I'm like, but then I'm like, okay, I gotta act like I'm older. I'm like, oh yeah, it's normal. But inside I'm freaking out, like, oh my God, they're doing cocaine, you know, so.
Darn, they didn't have like Twitter
I don't know if
or
I can even talk about this here.
No, it's okay, we're with the Vietnamese in North America. I think a lot of them don't know who Rick James is.
Yeah.
Dạ vâng, thưa quý vị, xin quý vị.
Famous singer back in the 80s, okay.
Back in the 70s and 80s,
70s and
right?
80s,
70s.
I've never done cocaine.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. Yeah.
I was only watching what he
I was watching in shock. But playing it off like it was cool.
Cool.
No, but you know, they busted their butts and you know, it was working like maybe 14 hours a day.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
Just like on set.
Yeah.
Just like
on set, yeah. Because you know, I spent, you know, as a kid, like most of my summers since like first grade on, working in restaurants. So you learn how to prep food, do all that stuff. So like, yeah. So when the show came, I'm like, oh my God, I see so many different.
We talked on the phone for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Deja vu, right?
Yeah.
Deja vu for you.
Yeah.
Dạ vâng, thưa quý vị, xin quý vị khán thính giả vẫn tiếp tục giữ màn ảnh của SBTN. Tôi sẽ trở lại sau phần quảng cáo.